Hello. Thank you for clicking on my channel. I'm Dami, and today's going to be a very interesting video because I have some books here that I want to read. Now, usually this would be like a books I'm reading in July kind of thing, which probably will be, but I don't run through books as quickly as the next person. However, I have books that I am excited to read from this month till, the next whatever, and I'm just going to go in no particular order, and like I have done in previous videos, I will then rank the ones I am most excited for. So, starting off, we have My Sister, the Serial Killer. Now, this book, I remember, I've had this book on my list for the past 2 years, and I don't know what it is, but I just happened to just, see someone say something really, what's the word? Driving and intimidating and convincing about this book. So I just got to go on Amazon, and initially, funny story, I'm going on a trip for my grandmother's birthday, and I'm like, okay, this is what I'm going to read on my flight. Now that has changed, and you'll find out in this video, but My Sister, the Serial Killer by Oyinkan Braithwaite. And what is this book about? I have no idea what this book is about, by the way. Korede's sister Ayola is many things. The favorite child, the beautiful one, possibly sociopathic. And now Ayola's third boyfriend in a row is dead, stabbed through the heart with Ayola's knife. Korede's practicality is a sister's saving grace. She knows the best solutions for cleaning blood, bleach, and more bleach, the best way to move her body, wrap it in sheets like a mummy, and she keeps Ayola from posting pictures to Instagram when she should be mourning her missing boyfriend. Not that she gets any credits. Korede has long been in love with a kind, handsome doctor at the hospital where she works. She dreams of the day when he will realize that she's actually what he needs. But when he asks Korede for Ayola's phone number, she must reckon with what her sister has become and how far she's willing to go to protect her. A biting mix of wickedness and wits, Oyinkan Braithwaite weaves her narrative with the confidence that you've never read anything quite like it. Interesting. So the first half I really understand is like I guess, covering up a murder, and the second half, the wittiest and most fun murder party you've ever been invited to. So like I said, I still honestly have no idea what this book is about, and I'm someone who doesn't necessarily read the blurb of a book. So I mean, if I get a book, I don't read it immediately unless it's a book I'm really excited about, and I always most times forget what the book is about from the blurb till I read the book. So I probably will forget what this is about by the time I'm reading it, but I'm still excited nonetheless. So that's number one. Second on my list, a book I really just got today, is You Made a Fool of Death with Your Beauty. Now, I will say I've been wanting to get this book. I have no idea what it's about, and someone recently texted me, like I think a month ago, saying, I just started this book, you need to fucking get it. And I wanted to get the hardcover. I don't really have a preference, but the hardcover just looks a lot better. It's like orange, and this color is a bit undermining for me. But it's by Akweke Emezi, who also has another book on my TBR, The Death of Vivek Oji, which I will be getting very soon. I've seen a lot of people I trust talk about this book. So, Feyi Adekola wants to learn how to be alive again. It's been 5 years since the accident that killed the love of her life, and she's almost a new person now. An artist with her own studio, sharing a brownstone apartment with her best friend Joy, who insists it's time for Feyi to ease back into the dating scene. Feyi isn't ready for anything serious, but a steamy encounter at a rooftop party cascades into a whirlwind summer she could never have imagined. A luxury trip to a tropical island, decadent meals in the glamorous home of a celebrity chef, and a major curator who wants to launch her art career. She's even started dating the perfect guy, but the new relationship might be sabotaged before it has a chance by the dangerous thrill Feyi feels every time she locks eyes with the one person in the house who is most definitely off limits, his father. How far is Feyi willing to go for a second chance at love? Akweke Emezi's vivid and passionate writing takes us deep into a world of possibility and healing and the constant bravery of choosing love against all odds. Emezi can write a love story like no other, and this one will have you gripped from page 1, Vogue. I'm sorry, you had me at father. So I listened to a podcast called The Receipts Podcast, and there's Tolly always says, don't let your boyfriend or husband stop you from meeting the love of your life. I mean, if the father's a catch, why not if he's single? Anyway, it depends on your moral high ground. But okay, this is interesting. This is really interesting. And I will say, these two books, since they've been on my TBR, I don't know why I expect them to be a lot bigger. Like, I just thought they looked by their name like heavy, thick books, but they're rather, slim. And another one, Tender of the Flesh by Augustina Basterica. I also thought this book was quite huge. I don't know why. So I actually got this book at Barnes & Noble a couple of days ago. I wasn't looking for it, and I just got it. And this is one of the books that I might be reading on a trip coming soon. So, and I do know a little bit about what this book is about. Working at the local processing plants, Marcus is in the business of slaughtering humans, though no one calls them that anymore. His wife has left him, his father is sinking into dementia, and Marcus tries not to think too hard about how he makes a living. After all, it happened so quickly. First, it was reported that an infectious virus had made all animal meat poisonous to humans. Then government initiated the transition. Now, eating human meat, special meats, is legal. Marcus tries to stick to numbers, consignments, processing. Then one day he's giving a gift, a live specimen of the finest quality. Though he's aware that any form of personal contact is forbidden on pain of death, little by little, he starts to treat her like a human being. And then soon, he becomes tortured by what has been lost and what might still be saved. The international sensation about a dystopian world in which humans are being processed for food and society is divided into predators and prey. Interesting. The provocative novel expertly wields a double-edged cleaver. Wow. And there's a lot of praise for this book as well. So I knew a little bit about what this book was about before getting it and just it being on my list. And I will say, I'm a fan of dystopian novels, and I'm also someone who really enjoys just seeing how far humans can go and how human can really get, because I think we never really know our strengths and how far we can go, like in any situation till we are put in like dire and survival situations. So this is really, really interesting. And like I said, this is one of two books that I might be reading on a trip, and this book as well looks like I might run through it quickly, but then I might start and fall asleep on the plane, who knows. And the second book for books I want to read on a trip is a book called Yellowface by R.F. Kuang. I mean, this book has been everywhere, and there's been a lot said about this book. And R.F. Kuang is one person who I've never necessarily heard anything bad about the book. I've heard a lot of critiques, but this is just based on people's like personal tastes and reading styles and what they like to read when they're reading books. So I really wanted to read Bible, because it just sounds like a book I know I will enjoy. However, this book sounds a lot more inviting to see how I might enjoy this author and how she writes. So, Yellowface, I know a little bit about this book. It's about, and here it says razor sharp from the Times. I really, really also just like how this book looks. I don't know what it is about this book. Okay, let's see. Okay, White Lies, Dark Humor, Deadly Consequences. Best-selling sensation Juniper Song is not who she says she is. She didn't write the book she claims she wrote, and she is most certainly not Asian American. In this chilling and hilarious cutting novel from New York Times best-selling author R.F. Kuang. Authors June Hayward and Athena Liu were supposed to be twin rising stars, but Athena's literary darling, June Hayward, is literally nobody. Who wants stories about basic white girls doing things? So when June witnesses Athena's death in a freak accident, she acts on impulse. She steals Athena's just finished masterpiece, an experimental novel about the unsung contribution of Chinese laborers during World War I. I'm sorry, how is that acting on impulse? When someone dies, and like, don't you call 911 or don't you like flee the scene if you don't want to be like, you know, part of the... How is that on instinct? Okay. So what if June edits Athena's novels and sends it to her agent as her own work? So what if she lets her new publisher rebrand her as Juniper Song, complete with an ambiguously ethnic author photo? Doesn't this piece of history deserve to be told? Whoever the teller. That's what June claims, and the New York Times bestseller list seems to agree. But June can't get away from Athena's shadow, and emerging evidence threatens to bring June's stolen success down around her. As June traces to protect her secrets, she discovers exactly how far she will go to keep what she thinks she deserves. With its totally immersive first-person voice, Yellowface grapples with questions of diversity, racism, and cultural appropriation, as well as the terrifying alienation of social media. R.F. Kuang's novel is timely, razor-sharp, and eminently readable. Yeah, this sounds so thrilling. And again, how do you steal someone's manuscript on instinct? This sounds really, really interesting, and this just sounds like a very, very good escape. I will say, I've never really read anything about like the publishing world. I've listened to maybe one or two podcasts, but fictional podcasts, but nothing really. So this would be interesting to dive into it and see what it's about. This also just sounds very, and I wonder, I mean, I'm already having thoughts for it, but I wonder if the agent knows or knew before, like what the agent even thinks about this. This is so interesting. And I will say, when I was buying this book, I remember seeing a lot of praise for this book from people's books I have read. So one, for example, is I remember seeing it. Where is it? Aha! Olivia Blake. She's the author of The Atlas Six, a book that I read and enjoyed. And she says, Yellowface is a brittle, eviscerating read that affected me bodily. Kwang's over consistently finds new ways to expose and interrogate systems of power. In this case, tackling the commodification and consumption of art with both swagger and sophistication. Yellowface is really that bitch. And there's another author. I mean, a lot of books that I want to read. And actually, interesting segue. We have Praise for Yellowface by Pink Shepherd, the author of The Cartographers, a darkly satirical thriller about greed, truth, identity, and art, and who a story really belongs to. Reading Yellowface was like riding a roller coaster with no safety belt. I screamed the whole way through. Next book on my list, The Cartographers by, I just said the name, Pink Shepherd, or their name. Okay, this book, I know a little bit about what's about, but let's just dive into it. And I just love this cover. It's just so... Oh, okay. What is the purpose of a map? Neil Young's whole life and greatest passion is cartography. Her father, Dr. Daniel Young, is a legend in the field and Neil's personal hero. But she hasn't seen or spoken to him ever since he crudely fired her and destroyed her reputation after an argument over an old cheap gas station highway map. But when Dr. Young is found dead in the office of the New York Public Library with the very seemly wordless map hidden in his desk, Neil can't resist investigating. To her surprise, she soon discovers that the map is incredibly valuable and exceedingly rare. In fact, she may now have the only copy left in existence because a mysterious collector has been hunting down and destroying every last one, along with anyone who gets in the way. But why? To answer that question, Nell embarks on a dangerous journey to reveal a dark family secret and discovers the true power that lies in maps. Perfect for fans of Joe Hill and V.E. Schwab, The Cartographers is an ode to art and science, history and magic, and a spectacularly imaginative modern story about an ancient craft and places still undiscovered. From the critically acclaimed author of the Book of M, a highly imaginative thriller about a young woman who discovers that a strange map in her deceased father's belongings holds an incredible deadly secret, one that will lead her on an extraordinary adventure and to the truth about her father's dark history. This just sounds like this is like the recipe to a good thriller. I will say I'm so excited. I know nothing, so I enjoy reading about like things I know nothing about, but I wouldn't really mind diving into. So I know nothing about maps, but I watched a show back in high school called The Librarians, where they worked in a library. It was very supernatural in a way, and they just like always made maps and like followed. It was really, really good. So this is really, it sounds really, really interesting, and I just wonder what this book might uncover. And I really, really hope that this book is a lot better than I anticipate, because it will be very disappointing, and it's a very thick boy as well. And last on the list is Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi. I got this book a while ago, and I've been excited to read it, but I will say, God, it looks so heavy, and maybe, just maybe, I think I'm trying to prepare myself to jump into another fantasy world, because I read like maybe 3 or 4 fantasy books in the last 2 months. I'm just on a reprieve right now. So like fantasy and romance, I'm done. Now I'm just reading like thrillers and everything else other than. And I remember posting a TikTok and asking if this book and actually book 2 to Legendborn was worth it, and everyone said yes, and it's unforgettable. And because this book has a sequel, who knows if I would jump into it. I really, really abhor and detest books that have sequels, because like, why do I have to come back to you, especially if they're fantasies? But that might change. So I know nothing about this book is about. I know it's being turned into a Netflix series, I believe. So let's see what it's about. Zili Adebola remembers when the soil of Orisha hummed with magic. Burners ignited flames, tiders beckoned waves, and Zili's Reaper mother summoned forth souls. But everything changed once magic disappeared. Under the orders of a ruthless king, the Magi were targeted and killed, leaving Zili without a mother and her people without hope. Now Zili has one chance to bring back magic and strike against the monarchy. With the help of a rogue princess, Zili must outwit and outrun the crown prince, who is hellbent on eradicating magic for good. Danger lurks in Orisha, where snow leopards prowl and vengeful spirits wait in the waters. Yet, the greatest threat may be Zili herself, as she struggles to control her powers and her growing feelings for an enemy. Oh wow, and there's like a very interesting map here as well. This is a great, I love a good map. This is so, even though most times, so when I read books that have maps, I forget the maps, and I forget the map till I finish the book, and I'm like, oh, they actually gave me visuals. So most times I always just imagine the road myself, and and there's like a lot of places here that I recognize from just growing up in Nigeria, like Lagos, Ilorin, Sokoto, Calabar, Lokoja, Kaduna, Benin City, Ikoyi, Warri, Minna, and like I'm assuming these places on the corners might be fictional as well, but I can see Zaria, Makodi, Dutse, Kano, Ibadan. Oh wow! I'm excited. This book sounds just a little bit like Blood Trials, where there's like a mission to get eradicated, just like achieve something or find out something. Someone has some powers that they're trying to discover, and like maybe get it down the way they're discovering it, and then there's like a burning passion for like an enemy. That's my kind of book. So okay. Before I was at a 4, now I'm at a 6. Yeah. Anyway. So that is it. Now what I'm going to do is, in the order of how I'm excited, I'm going to go from least excited to most excited. And I will still read these books, but I would just say like the ones that sound the most convincing to me is what I will start with. So let's go. Okay, least excited. I'm going to start with My Sister the Serial Killer. I'm not as excited. I will read this book eventually, but it's not really, making me like fiend for it. Then You Made a Fool of Death with Your Beauty again. We'll read it, but I'm just not burning for it. Next, I will say will be, oh wow, this is hard. You know what? Next is going to be Tender as Flesh. Yeah. I just don't know what it is because everything else is an amazing contender. Okay, next we have The Cartographers. I am excited for this book. This is actually, before starting this video and reading everything else, this was when I was excited for the most. However, things have changed. Yellowface. Literally everyone is talking about it, and someone has told me you have to read this fucking book. And now, in a weird turning of events, Children of Blood and Bone. It sounds fucking amazing. It sounds relatable because of how I grew up and where I grew up, and it just sounds, the names are familiar to me just already. And so these are the books I plan on. Once I finish the book I'm reading now, which might be tonight, I'm going to jump into any of these books and hopefully not buy any more books. But I am jumping into these books and I'm excited to read them from July to just whenever I finish with these books. And again, these are the genres I might be exploring. I guess I might be jumping into fantasy again, and I have a trip coming up, and I will say for those trips, I was looking for something that I wouldn't need to pay so much attention to, that would be easy to read and wouldn't just be like a very core shaking genre. So I bought Yellowface initially because this is the book I plan to read at the airport and just like on my whole trip for 4th of July weekend. However, I also did get Tender as Flesh, so I will be taking these 2 books on the trip with me. This would be like my airport read, and this would just be book I will read at home at my grandma's house. But yeah, that is it for this video. Thank you so much for clicking and watching my channel. I'm Dami, and I hope you enjoyed. I hope you enjoyed spending time as well. If you'd like to come back or check out my channel, I talk about books, and I hope to see you next time. I'm talking about books I enjoy reading, books I want to read, and books I have thoughts about. Leave a comment if you've read any of these books and let me know what you think or thought, and if you have any recommendations from any of these other authors as well, let me know. And also, if you read Babu, let me know your thoughts if you don't mind. And The Cartographers as well, because I really want to know what anyone else who has read this book might think. I will say I don't necessarily watch reviews or read reviews of books before I read them, because I just like to go in fresh and not have any bias. I've been ruined by bias before for books I've read, and I don't like that happening to me. But thank you so much for watching. I'm Dami. Again, thank you. And I hope you have a great holiday and a great week and a great month. Bye!